So pretty shortly after we got married, I discovered that my husband loves going grocery shopping, which is great news for me because I hate grocery shopping. So I was like, okay, you're always going to be the one that goes grocery shopping going forward. And started working out like just fine at the beginning. And he would text me and he would be like, I'm going grocery shopping. What do you want me to get? After a while, and I would always just like ignore the text because I'm just like, this is none of my damn business. But then one day I was like, oh, I guess I could make some requests of things that I do want. And so he texted me and he said, I'm going grocery shopping. Is there anything you want me to pick up? And I was like, yes, I want you to bring home ice cream. And he was like, okay, well, anything else? And I was like, again, none of my business. The rest of it is none of my business. And so he's like, great. So he goes grocery shopping. He comes home and I'm like, did you bring home ice cream? And he's like, yeah, it's in this bag. And he hands me the ice cream out of this bag. And it was like a thimble of ice cream. I did not know that they even sold it in such small quantities. And I said to him, what is the meaning of this? And he was like, what is the meaning of what? And I was like, why is this what you brought me home? And I was like, obviously this means that you're not having any and that I'm only having like a fifth of what I intended to consume. And he was like, well, it's healthier for us to not, we shouldn't be eating like a ton of ice cream. Like this is a good proportion for blah, blah, blah. And so I was just like, okay, apparently I have to micromanage you next time you go grocery shopping. So the next time he goes grocery shopping, he texts me and he's like, okay, I'm going grocery shopping. Is there anything you want me to pick up? And I said, yes, bring home ice cream, but do not bring me a thimble of ice cream. I want a respectable amount of ice cream. And so he's like, okay, anything else? I was like, the rest of it's none of my business. So he goes grocery shopping, he comes home and I'm like, did you bring me ice cream? He's like, yes. And he pulls out of this bag, this ice cream, he hands it to me, and it's a pint, which is still like not enough, but like whatever. And I was like, okay, at least we're improving on the size. And I look at the ice cream, and it is sugar-free ice cream. And I was like, what is the meaning of this? And he was like, well, it's healthier for us. We don't need to be consuming so much sugar. And I was like, what is this we business? And so I was like, okay, I'll try it. So I tasted it. And this ice cream tasted like a cloud that saw a picture of candy once. And I was like, this is not ice. Like, this does not even count as ice cream. So the next time he goes grocery shopping, I'm like, he texts me and I say, ice cream. And I say, I do not want sugar-free ice cream. And I do not want it to come in a thimble. And so he's like, okay, got it. So he comes home. This man comes home. And I'm like, surely he got it right this time. And I'm like, did you bring me the ice cream? And he's like, yes, I brought you the ice cream. So he pulls out of this bag a pint of vegan ice cream. Vegan ice cream. I was like, that's not even a thing. It's one of those things where they wouldn't even spell the word ice cream correctly. Like they like put an X in there somewhere so that they couldn't get sued for false advertising. Like, this is not ice cream. And so I'm so mad at him and I eat this thing and it's disgusting. I'm sorry to say it is disgusting. And so I'm like, I'm getting more and more irate with this man. And I'm like, are you doing this on purpose at this point? And I know some of you right now are going to be like, oh, Eli, if this is such a big deal to you, why don't you go out and get the ice cream? Like, if this is that important to you, why don't you? Because that's what my husband said. Hey, why don't you go out and get the ice? And you know what, guys? I don't need a project manager right now. I need a listener. So shut up. So the next time he goes, I text him and I'm like, Skylar, I want ice cream. I want good, I say, quote, good ice cream. Bring me home good ice cream. Not vegan, not sugar-free, and I don't want it to come in a thimble. Good ice cream. And I say, you pick any flavor you want, because I'll take any flavor. I said, pick any flavor that you think we both might enjoy, but just bring home good ice cream. So this man comes home with his little gay tote bag that he uses to go grocery shopping because he cares about the planet. He brings home that tote bag and I say, Skylar, did you bring me ice cream? And he pulls out of this goddamn gay little tote bag, he pulls out a gallon of plain vanilla Dreyer's ice cream. Dreyer's plain vanilla is what this man chose of all of the options available. And I was like, you deserve to go to prison, not in medium security prison, not like high security. We don't need to get dramatic about it, but like prison. And I was like, Skylar, I might divorce you over this, and I'm taking the good dog and you can have the other one. And that is like a threat that gets thrown around my house a lot. And I say to him, why would you choose, of all of the options available, Dreyer's plain vanilla ice cream? And he says, well, it's versatile. It's the most versatile ice cream. And I was like, yeah, if you have toppings, but the man did not buy any toppings. We have no toppings. And so I'm like, you think that I wanted to scoop up Dreyer's plain vanilla ice cream into a bowl and then go sit and watch The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City eating my plain vanilla ice cream?